Experience the thrill, feel the passion, and join the excitement. Tickets on sale now at VCSUVikings.com.
Lang hard to the basket with a two-hand flush. He burst through it. He's to the end zone. Touchdown, Valley City State.
Here's the game-winning shot. Does it go? Yes, it does!
Nelson on the attack. Holland can't make the play. The Vikings sweep the Jimmy. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gratian Gymnasium tonight and the back end of our doubleheader coverage of Viking Athletics here today on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. And tonight we get set for volleyball. And the Vikings had a heartbreaker here last night that they would like to reverse, and it was made more painful later on today, or earlier I should say today, when the Vikings watched as Mayville State defeated Carroll College, a team that the Vikings had on the ropes last night and couldn't close the door on. Carroll College goes to Mayville today and loses in 5, and the Vikings know that they kind of left an opportunity untaken advantage of last night. So now they'll try to turn it around today as they get set to go up against Rocky Mountain and the Battling Bears here today on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. A presentation of I3G Media Sports and Valley City State University. Brian Cunningham with you here after the Vikings beat Dickinson State earlier today. Now the Vikings have an opportunity to try to take on the Battling Bears here tonight and make it a 2-for-1 weekend if they can make that weekend work and take out Rocky Mountain here today and try to make it at least a 2-for-1 Saturday after picking up that win over Dickinson State. The Vikings come in 9-7 in the conference. Rather, they do not. My apologies on that. The Vikings come in 7-10, I believe it is, in conference play. You'll find out more coming up here in a second when we take a look at the full conference standings, assuming the tech works for us, and it is 7-10 as far as Valley City State is concerned in conference play. A record of 9-13 overall. The Battling Bears are 1-16 in the conference. Their lone win in the league, it came last night when they defeated Mayville State University, and then Mayville comes back with a win today over Carroll College, a team receiving votes in the latest poll. It's kind of a crazy world that we live in here in the Frontier Conference. Rocky Mountain's 2-20 overall, the Vikings 9-13, 7-10 in the league for the Vikings, and 1-16 in the league for Rocky Mountain here today. So that really brings us to the point that we're at where the Vikings are kind of hungry for a victory, and will attempt. Now, I'm hoping that this will work for those of you that are viewing tonight here on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. We're going to attempt to do a screen share. We didn't have the opportunity to prepare good graphics for this one today due to the football matchup, but attempting to take you through the Frontier Conference website so you can see where we're at as far as the stack up of teams right now. Providence, Bellevue, still sitting there as the teams that have separated themselves at this point. 18-0 for Providence, Bellevue 16-2, 25-1 overall for Providence, the second-ranked team in the country. Bellevue's 20-3 overall, the seventh-ranked team in the nation. Montana State Northern, who was here last week, the Vikings had chances against Montana State Northern but couldn't turn the corner. 12-5 in the conference. The Vikings nearly had Carroll last night. Carroll now 10-7 after dropping their matchup with Mayville State today. Dakota State ranked 24th in the country, 10-8. The last time the Vikings went up against Dakota State, it was a tough matchup. The Vikings were beaten in 3 straight sets in that one, and had some problems really putting things together on the road. It was one of the points here for the Vikings that might have been a low spot as far as performance was concerned. Montana Tech currently 10-8. Montana Western 9-9. Dickinson State, the Vikings each 7-10, but you can see the separation there between Dickinson State, Valley City State, those two teams, and then the teams in the bottom third of the conference with Mayville State 3-14, Bismarck State 2-16, Rocky Mountain 1-16, and yet Valley City State ends up not being able to close the door against Carroll last night. Mayville State does close the door against the Saints in 5 sets today. So the Vikings left one kind of undone in that matchup last night, and now trying to bounce back after a 5-setter last night and see if they can pull home a win coming up here tonight. So that's where we stand as far as the conference play is concerned coming into today. We're going to take a break, and we'll come back, try to get a look at our starting lineups and get ready for volleyball. It is senior day today, so there will be a senior presentation for the Vikings as well. So we'll run through that as far as what's going on with senior day and also give you a look at the starters that will be on the floor for the Vikings and the Battling Bears coming up here tonight. Second half of our doubleheader, it's the Vikings and Rocky Mountain up next here in the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. And we're back with more in just a couple of moments. Stay with us.
quality education, affordable tuition, student opportunities. That's the Viking promise. Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make it.
During the fall sale at Lever's, prices are falling fast on Brewpub Pizza, $5.99. Kraft shredded or chunk cheese, $1.89 with coupon and flyer. Cheez-It, Townhouse, or toasted crackers, $4.49 with coupon and flyer. Fresh Express chopped salad kits, just $3.49 each, and boneless beef chuck roast, only $8.99 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Orthopedic pain is limiting. It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options that can manage your pain, rehab your injuries, and restore your confidence. Take back the freedom to move. Explore your orthopedic options at Sanford Health.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Laco Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue or Chase Carpenter at 701-845-6938. Securities offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, SIPC. Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. And also tonight on newsdakota.com. We welcome you here this evening and getting ready for our start for tonight's matchup. We may have some issues trying to track down starting lineups here tonight for Rocky Mountain. It would appear that their libero is going to, we've got some names. Okay, I apologize. We got some things we have to clean up as far as our starting lineups tonight. When we have these quick turnarounds, apologies for that, folks. Every once in a while we end up having a couple of errors when we're putting things in. And I think they revised the starting lineup. I think they had the old starting lineup in last night. Now they put the new starting lineup in for Rocky Mountain. And we're about to have our senior presentation tonight for the Vikings. And the Vikings do have a lot of seniors that they'll be losing at the end of this season, and they have been fantastic seniors for this Viking volleyball team. And so this is going to be a tough one. Last year they had a smaller graduating class, but this year they've got a much larger graduating class. And so tonight, senior night being what it is, they're going to be acknowledging some parents that are here tonight, and obviously acknowledging the seniors that are here tonight as well. So they have a parents' night presentation and a senior presentation. We'll get to that coming up, but first we'll have our national anthem for tonight. So we'll take a quick timeout. We'll come back with more in just a couple of moments. Do stay with us.
When your team, school, or business needs custom apparel or promotional products, Rambo is here to help. With over 40 years of industry-leading experience, state-of-the-art machines, and dedicated employees, we have the tools and facility to handle any job. With online ordering solutions for sports teams and businesses alike, you can count on us to get the job done correctly and on time. To get your next project started, contact Matt or visit us online at rambo.com.
Hi, this is Clint from Central Avenue Health Mart Pharmacy in beautiful downtown Valley City, your only locally owned pharmacy since 1989. When you're locally owned, you care about your community and your customers. We offer a great selection of gifts and toys, as well as yarns, fabrics, sewing, and crafting. We are here for you from 9 to 5:30 weekdays and Saturdays 9 to 1. For all your pharmaceutical needs, give us a call, 845-5280.
Health Mart, taking time to listen and care.
Grotberg Electric believes in quality first, taking pride in the work and standing behind every project they do. They bring together the power, technology, and experience to keep your business online. The success of Grotberg Electric depends on three major ideals: the quality of their products, the commitment to their customers, and most of all, their customer service. Call Grotberg Electric today at 845-3010 or visit them online, grotbergelectric.com. Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball this evening. As we mentioned, Parents' Night is happening this evening, so that means that all of the Vikings will be acknowledging their parents here this evening, and so that will be an extra special presentation that we have here tonight. And right now we see the Vikings going over to their parents in the crowd, bringing them a card and a memento and things like that, which is kind of a nice gesture that we have for the parents that are in attendance here tonight. And it's always a fun time to acknowledge the team and acknowledge the parents that have sent their kids to Valley City State University throughout the course of their playing careers, and they develop and do extremely well while they're here as Valley City State University Vikings. But this volleyball team in particular, we've seen their parents be so very loyal. We've watched them on the road at the national tournament and all that kind of thing, and it really has been a lot of fun to watch their parents come to the university over and over again these last few years, and hopefully that trend will continue going into the future. All right, let's talk about tonight's matchup. First of all, the Vikings coming in 7-10 in the conference, 9-13 overall after a 5-setter last night. That didn't go the Vikings' way. The Vikings were beaten last night 3-2. They had Carroll College on the ropes, could not close that thing out last night, and so the Vikings end up coming in here after a tough conference loss. You win that one last night, and you find yourself at an 8-9 opportunity, trying to get back to 500 inside the league. Instead, right now, 7-10, having to fight their way back up. Rocky Mountain won their first game in the conference, first match, I should say, in the conference last night. They defeated Mayville State, and then Mayville State turned around and beat Carroll College today. So anything can happen in these matchups. That's one of the things that's nice about being in the conference that we're in, is that there's going to be some parity in it. It's fun to kind of discover where it's going to be and that type of thing. But really, for this Rocky Mountain team, they're without some personnel that are important, and that's going to be the thing to watch here tonight for these two teams, particularly for Rocky Mountain. They're used to playing a 6-2 offense, and you can tell that by taking a look at the box score. But that's not going to be the case tonight. They're missing Ella Kincaid, who has 256 assists on the season, didn't play last night, not making the road trip. Now, she and Meredith Marsh have done the setting responsibilities for Rocky Mountain throughout the course of the year, and at this point, they're going to be with at least a situation where they'll be without one of their setters if they choose to go 6-2, or they're going to go to a 5-1 system, and that can be difficult to overcome. But again, last night, they won on the road, went with one setter apparently, and ended up getting the win last night. So a little bit of a different system that they're throwing at things tonight, and that's one of those changes that you don't expect to see happen at this point in the year, but apparently that's going to be the case tonight. Let's take a look at the starting lineups that we have for tonight's matchup. Starting lineups, first of all, for the Batlin Bears of Rocky Mountain. The libero tonight is Zoe Albert, a 5'7" junior from Kalispell, Montana. The center this evening is Meredith Marsh, a 5'7" junior from Arlington, Washington. Starters tonight is a defensive specialist, Lauren Rodacker, 5'4" senior from Billings, Montana. Starting tonight at the right side is Sadie Meyer, a 5'7" sophomore from Billings, Montana. The outside hitter is Amelia Kissel, a 5'9" sophomore from Belekto, Poland. The middle blockers tonight will be Felina Mulder, a 6-foot freshman from Nieuwdorp, Netherlands, and Caitlin Wood will start at the middle, a 5'11" junior from Eugene, Oregon. Aubrey Beaumont is in her second season as the head coach of the Batlin Bears. She's assisted by Lauren Revering. Tonight for the Valley City State University Vikings, starting lineups will look like this. J.C. Richter will get the start as the libero this evening, and J.C. Richter is on the cusp of a milestone night tonight. More on that in a moment. Richter, a 5'9 senior out of Linton, North Dakota. The setter this evening to start will be Madden Bogenreef, a 5'8 freshman from Moorhead, Minnesota. Starting tonight on the right side is Rosie Anderson, 6'1 senior from Moorhead, Minnesota. The outside hitters tonight, Macy Frigid, 6'1 senior from Bismarck, North Dakota, and Emma Lucas, a 6' senior from Argusville, North Dakota. And the middle tonight will be Danielle Hagler, a 5'11 senior from Candu, North Dakota. Starting as a defensive specialist, Delaney Clark, a 5'5 senior from Bismarck, North Dakota. Michelle Micklejohn, in her third year as the head coach of Valley City State University, took this team to the national tournament in her first year as the head coach of the Vikings. When we talk about seniors that the Vikings are going to lose, they're going to graduate very heavy. Macy Frigid, Hannah Wieland, Delaney Clark, J.C. Richter, Danielle Hagler, Morgan Freege, Emma Lucas, Brooke Anderson, Rosie Anderson, and also, I believe that's it as far as the seniors that they're going to lose. But, I mean, that is a bulk of the team that helped put this team on the map when they made their national tournament run a couple of years ago. And so it'll be really, really tough to watch this team graduate with all the great moments that they've given us over the course of the last couple of years. They're going to be graduating rather heavy, and it's going to be a need to reload if the Vikings are going to make their way back into this one. Otherwise, it's going to be some growing pains for a while. They've got some good players in the pipeline that can get this done, but it's going to be a tough graduating class, and I'm sure that Michelle Micklejohn knows that. And the recruiting trail is going to be something she's going to be tracking down more and more all the time going forward. Vikings are in their Cardinal tonight. Rocky Mountain, I would describe it as a gold, like more of a matte finish type of gold with green. Rocky Mountain's in a green libero uniform. The Vikings will be in their Cardinal libero uniform. And we mentioned the landmark night that we're talking about, J.C. Richter. The Vikings are, I believe the number is 15 digs for J.C. Richter away from a career record for digs at Valley City State. Shelly Cockerell, who played in the mid-90s, has the career record at 1,958 digs and was a scholar athlete, that type of thing for the Vikings back in the mid-90s, so it's been a while. Now, one thing worth mentioning, in the mid-90s, I don't believe we were playing with the libero. And so when you have that situation, you look at what Shelly Cockerell did over a career of playing the libero or playing in the back row and registering that many digs when you didn't have the opportunity to be a libero. The other part of that, though, is that back then you didn't have rally scoring either. So you wonder just how that is affected, right, when you go from one system to the next. But we're ready to go. The Vikings will serve to start tonight, and it will be J.C. Richter who will serve for the first time this evening for Valley City State. And we are underway with Viking volleyball as the pass comes from Lauren Rodacker. They'll work out to their right side pin to get things started. Caitlin Wood is repulsed, and the Batlin Bears will send it back in a free ball. Danielle Hagler will swing and score through the middle, and the Vikings will take a 1-0 lead. So the first play for Rocky Mountain to their right side. Caitlin Wood, 136 kills on the year and a .244 hitting percentage. Danielle Hagler, a .284 hitting percentage. Both teams going to their best hitter on their opening play of the night, and the Vikings will end up with the point. A tip towards the middle for Rocky Mountain. Back to Macy Frigid, who will fight off contact. Good score after Sadie Meyer tipped to the middle. Macy Frigid on the outside will score, and the Vikings take a 2-0 edge. So Macy Frigid with a kill, and Danielle Hagler with a kill, and the Vikings have hit their outside pin and their middle to get things started tonight. Richter standing ready to go again for the Vikings. Serve taken back row. Set will come from Meredith Marsh. They come to the outside and they're blocked. Emma Lucas gets up and gets a block on Amelia Kissel. Lucas with a block tonight, and the Vikings have had a great start to the night. Frigid from the outside, Hagler from the middle. Lucas turns away a block from the outside pin. of Rocky Mountain, and Valley City State's up by a 3-0 margin. Richter serving again. That one will be errant. A service error as J.C. Richter ends up serving up the first service error of the night, and Rocky Mountain will get back to it in 2. Olivia Foth will come into the matchup. Foth 75 kills on the season. The blocking number for Emma Lucas has steadily grown. 48 blocks. She picks up another one on that rally by Rocky Mountain. To the middle, Hagler pushing and just missing it. Tried to push to the far sideline, ends up pushing wide. An attack error, and Rocky Mountain will make it 3-2. Amelia Kissel is back to serve for the Battling Bears. Kissel standing ready, and the serve on the way from Kissel. Taken in the back row by Daniel Hagler in the pass. Lucas right side will score. So the Vikings hit all 3 positions across the net in their first handful of rallies, trying to show some balance when it comes down to their offense. We'll see a change by Rocky Mountain. Lindsay Lawrence will come into the back row. Morgan Freege for the Vikings enters in the front row. 170 kills for Morgan Freege. She's had a very good season offensively. And Delaney Clark comes in to serve for Valley City State. It's 4-2, the Vikings by 2. Off to the right side for the Battling Bears and Sadie Meyer. Vikings respond. Frigen attacking deep. A turn by Lindsay Lawrence to keep it alive with an aggressive pass, but an error that comes from Olivia Foth trying to hit outside. And the point will go to Valley City State. Vikings lead 5-2 on the LaRue Lacko Financial scoreboard. Serve taken out of the back row. Pass again from Lawrence. They try to come back to the right. A tip this time from Foth to the middle. Freege, that one got the far sideline. Morgan Freege will score. The Vikings come out very efficient offensively. They've made one error thus far, but they've been able to hit all 3 positions across the net. They've waged a block as well. Delaney Clark serving. Another pass from Lawrence to the middle. Tip coming from Caitlin Wood. The Vikings respond. It's a drive off the outside that time. Coming from the outside hitter, Macy Frigen. Back towards the right, Lucas fights off a block. Laura digs that up out of the back row. Foth approaching, trying to tip middle. Vikings there with Bogenreef, and the swing by Frigen, mishit. Wide to the near sideline for Frigen, trying to attack the outside again. And Rocky Mountain will make a couple of changes. Battling Bears will send in number 17, Kira Ban, a defensive specialist out of Huntley, Montana. She'll come in to serve for Rocky Mountain. Lucas turns into the pass for the Vikings. Off to the right side for Morgan Freege. Vikings twist up their offense a little bit. Foth comes back for the Battling Bears through the middle. The Vikings got a touch on it. Lucas hits the far sideline. Back out to the right pin for Emma Lucas. Vikings back up 4 at 7-3. Rosie Anderson back into the matchup. She'll come to the front row. Gracie Schumacher will go to the back row. The Vikings have 41 blocks from Rosie Anderson this year. And that Macy Frigen number up to 37. The Vikings have shored up their block a little bit down the stretch, and that's been rather nice to see. Swing off the right pin for Sadie Meyer for Rocky Mountain. Back to Frigen. That one touched, and the Vikings will score. Macy Frigen fights off a touch and scores from the outside. 8-3, the Vikings lead by 5 here in the opening set. They've had a very nice start. They've been accurate. That's been one of the keys, and picked up a block on the way. Schumacher serving. It's her service and her setting rotation as well. A free ball from Lawrence sent it back. Here's the slide from Freege. Hit it wide. Set didn't come off the way Freege wanted it. The Vikings were going to that right pin slide that they've had some success with both Freege and Daniel Hagler the last couple of nights, but that time a tip wide. And the Battling Bears will have possession. We'll see Kristen Mentink come into the matchup for Rocky Mountain. Mentink, a setter out of Silt, Colorado, will serve deep. Delaney Clark is there for the pass. Back set right pin. Frigen got off a touch. Rocky Mountain able to keep it afloat. This comes back to Foth on the attack line, who will send it over on a free ball. Back set, Freege getting through on that right side this time. Morgan Freege coming out to the right side and coming up with a swing through contact. A block attempt on her from Felina Mulder, and Freege able to swing at it for the first time and just defeat it. 9-4, the Vikings up by 5 on the LaRue Lacko Financial scoreboard here in the opening set. Serve coming from Hannah Wieland and a block at the net. It'll stay back on the Rocky Mountain side. Back to a joust at the net. The Vikings win that. Tessa Apple getting into a joust on the near side with Rosie Anderson. And the Vikings will win it, and a timeout taken by Rocky Mountain as the Battling Bears fall down a half dozen. Opening set 10-4, Valley City State by 6 here in set number 1 on our LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout here at Gratian Gymnasium. Our coverage of Viking volleyball will continue next.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking volleyball tonight on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel. Ryan Cunningham with you here this evening from the Gratian Gymnasium facility. Vikings over here for a couple of weekends to play some volleyball. They'll go on the road next week on Thursday and Friday. They'll be on the road to Dickinson State and Bismarck State College, one of the more friendly road trips that the Vikings have that isn't to their travel partner up in Mayville. And they will be back at the W.E. Osmond Fieldhouse. Dakota State and Bellevue owe us some matches over there. Hannah Whelan will serve for the Vikings. This will be set middle. The attack coming from Felina Mulder. Rocky Mountain will go to their middle and score. Felina Mulder, 85 kills on the season, 57 blocks on the year. The block numbers were a big factor when you took a look at the box score for this team. Felina Mulder, 57. Caitlin Wood, 45. Maybe a little bit lighter than you'd like to see. That might have been one of the aspects of the game where they have struggled this year. And in this conference, you've got to be able to block at some point. Freegee gets off a touch and scores. Morgan Freegee hitting middle for the Vikings. Valley City State up by 6 at 11-5. The Vikings have Danielle Hagler and Morgan Freegee. They're 2 big middles playing opposite one another. So Danielle Hagler comes in for 3 rotations. And then Morgan Freegee, they'll go to that one blocker up front, try to get some production from their outsides blocking as well. Mulder hits the middle again for Rocky Mountain. Felina Mulder, a little bit right of center, but call it middle. And Felina Mulder makes an impact with a couple of kills for the Battling Bears. 11-6 your score with Rocky Mountain back within 5. And Zoe Albert, the libero for the Battling Bears, will serve. Down to a knee to get that one on a Kapulyu. Hagler hitting middle. And Zoe Albert got a piece of this to keep it afloat. It will come back up front, sent over on a free ball by Kissel. Kissel gets it back and it's blocked off that outside pin. Hagler and Rosie Anderson combine to shut down the outside for Rocky Mountain. There's been a good block on that side so far tonight for the Vikings. And another block for Valley City State will make it 12-6 VCSU. Madden Bogenreef will serve for the Vikings. A tough pass, and Rocky Mountain has to free ball it over. First play from Richter. Up front, a swing by Hagler. It was touched and stays afloat. Zoe Albert will come back to the near side. We see Kissel trying to send it through. The Vikings from the outside attack, and Emma Lucas will draw net contact from Rocky Mountain. Call's going to go against Tessa Apple. A middle out of Spokane, Washington. And the lead is up to 7 for the Vikings at 13-6. Rocky Mountain's got little to show for their night. Felina Mulder, a couple of kills. Otherwise, it's been a bit bleak. Here they go to the middle again, and a tip that gets blocked out of a joust. This will return back. Apple trying to swing on the outside. From the right side, Emma Lucas gets through contact and scores. Lucas puts another away. The Vikings have had a pretty balanced night. Macy Fridgen, 3 kills. Morgan Freegee, Emma Lucas, each with 2. At this point, that balance is going to be a big key for the Vikings. 14-6, Valley City State is up 8. Rodacker making the pass. Back near side, another block that just missed the near sideline. And a try by Emma Lucas to influence the call from the line judge, but the line judge not having it. So a blocking error by Lucas will turn it into a kill for Rocky Mountain. Battling Bears will bring Meredith Marsh back in, who was listed as the center. So they're still trying to play an improvised 6-2 lineup. But again, with the miss of Ella Kincaid, that's a problem. And Danielle Hagler swings and hits the middle. and the lead is back to 8 at 15-7. Again, I haven't seen the Battling Bears play this year, but when you look at their numbers, at least from a box score perspective, Ella Kincaid, 94 kills, 256 assists. She's an all-around player that plays a lot, you would think, as a center. Not here tonight. And they're also missing 109 kills from Josie West, and a play that will go into the scoreboard on the receiving error from Lauren Rodacker. She puts it up the wall. The Vikings will get an ace from J.C. Richter, and it's 16-7. Valley City State takes a 9-point edge in set number 1. Richter serving again, lightens up on it, hits the middle for another ace. 17-7, Rocky Mountain is out of sorts, and a timeout will be taken by the Battling Bears. Valley City State flexing dominance in the first. 17-7 on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout for Rocky Mountain from Gratian Gymnasium. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and NewsDakota.com. Special sports presentation of I3G Media. We're back in a moment.
Orthopedic pain is limiting. It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options that can manage your pain, rehab your injuries, and restore your confidence. Take back the freedom to move. Explore your orthopedic options at Sanford Health.
Valley City State trying to sweep a doubleheader today. Vikings lead by 10, 17-7. They got the win earlier today in football, defeating Dickinson State 29-21. Exciting finish. The Vikings missed a couple of extra points today, and Dickinson State had the football with 2 minutes, 3 seconds to go. Got the ball into Viking territory, but Valley City State came up with a stop to win the football game and moved their record to 5-3 on the year, 2-2 inside Frontier East. Viking volleyball tonight trying to get back in the win column after a tough one got taken from them last night when they were taking on Carroll College. J.C. Richter served up a couple of aces, will serve out of the second Battling Bears timeout. Rodacker making the pass. The Vikings return a kill attempt from Kissel on a free ball. Rocky Mountain goes to their middle this time. Caitlin Wood gets stopped, and an attack from Emma Lucas in the middle will score for Valley City State. Boy, we have seen the big players out there swing for Rocky Mountain. Kissel, Meyer, Mulder, Wood, Foth. They've all gone through, and Valley City State has just simply had an answer all the way through. J.C. Richter serving, lightens up. Rocky Mountain tries to cover the middle. That ball may have been on the Viking side. We've got a whistle, more net contact, or is it a center line? Looks like it'll be a center line violation against Rocky Mountain. One of the Battling Bears stepping over the center line. A ball was actually brought back onto the Rocky Mountain side of the net after it had cleared onto the Viking side. On second contact on that rally, we played through it. J.C. Richter serving again. Line drive, Kissel comes up with a pass. Base set middle, big swing from Caitlin Wood. Vikings get a huge dig, and they'll put it away with a kill on the outside coming from Macy Fridgen. Boy, let's watch that play again. The Vikings get a huge dig on what was a key swing from Caitlin Wood right in the middle of the net. J.C. Richter digs that ball up, and then the Vikings terminate down the sideline with Fridgen. And it's 20-7. Valley City State on top by 13. Another errant receive of serve turns into a joust. It's pushed back across the net by Sadie Meyer. Fridgen attacking. Long pass, kept afloat. This time Wood turns out to the right pin. Madden Bogenreef dumps on second contact and scores. Bogenreef makes it 21-7. The Vikings on top in the opening set by 14. And J.C. Richter will step back to serve again. She's had a long service rotation for the Vikings. Richter serving deep, and it'll be another ace for J.C. Richter. A receiving error by Rocky Mountain. And right now, Rocky Mountain head coach Aubrey Beaumont is powerless to stop it. Valley City State has seen them use both of their timeouts. The Vikings will make a change in their lineup. Hometown girl Addie Clovang, 6-foot sophomore. A middle will come in for the Vikings. as the Vikings try to get some extra playing time for additional players with the big lead. Another light serve, a dive coming up from Zoe Albert to get to it, and a block up front. Check that out. The sophomore Addie Quoving coming in and picking up a block, just stepping into the play, and the Vikings will take a 23-7 advantage. Rocky Mountain will make a substitution as well. Delana Lindeen, a 5'5 sophomore from Huntley, Montana, will step into the matchup. The Vikings lead by 16 in the opening set at 23-7. And J.C. Richter continues to serve for the Vikings. Pass from Zoe Albert. They'll set middle. Deep push this time. Richter was able to get a piece. Friedgen down the sideline. It's on the floor. And the Vikings have set point leading 24-7, trying to flex their muscle and show you the type of team they can be tonight. 24-7, the Vikings on top by 17. And J.C. Richter will step in to do the serving for the Vikings. She's been there a long time. It's a let's serve ace, why not? 25-7, the Vikings curve stop Rocky Mountain in the opening set of this matchup. Complete domination for Valley City State in that first set. An unbelievable sequence of the Vikings blocking and the Vikings being efficient. They hold Rocky Mountain College to -125 hitting in the first set tonight. Valley City State leads a set to none after a 25-7 win on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout in our intermission, which is brought to you by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good at Rambo. We'll come back with that intermission report next. This is Viking Volleyball.
Why choose Professional Eye Care Centers? 3 great reasons are Dr. Bond, Dr. Freilich, and Dr. Jangula, 3 of the most educated professional optometrists you'll ever meet. Next is their many locations. You can now see one of their spectacular doctors in Jamestown, Valley City, Carrington, Edgeley, Ellendale, and Lemoore. And finally, their fantastic selection. And yes, all of their frames and lenses are backed up by warranty. Visit ProEyeCareCenters.com and make an appointment today. Professional Eye Care Centers, clearly the best.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
Welcome back to our coverage of Viking Volleyball. Valley City State rolls in the opening set, 25-7 win tonight over Rocky Mountain and the Battling Bears in the first set of this matchup. We'll go through the numbers in a moment. Intermission report brought to you tonight by Rambo. We're in the business of making you look good at Rambo. So let's take a look at a couple of highlights from that first set. This was a big one. One of the best swings of the night for Rocky Mountain from Caitlin Wood right in the middle of the net, and J.C. Richter gets a huge dig. The Vikings come right back, and Macy Friedgen terminates down the sideline. And then later, the Vikings send in Addie Quoving, hometown player. You see her there on the right-hand side of the Viking net. Quoving goes up and double teams with Danielle Hagler to get a big block. So the sophomore out of Valley City coming in and making a big contribution. And the Vikings have a 1-0 lead on a 25-7 win in the opening set here tonight. Those are the highlights from the first set of the matchup tonight. Take a look through the individual numbers. Rocky Mountain was led by Amelia Kissel in that first set. Correction, nope, that's the error number. I apologize. Felina Mulder was the leader in that first set for Rocky Mountain with 2 kills out of 3 swings. She was the only player for Rocky Mountain to register a kill. That's a tough place to be. Amelia Kissel swung 3 times, and swung 6 times, had 3 errors, no kills. And Olivia Foth swung twice, no kills, and an error. Just a tough night hitting all the way through for Rocky Mountain. Valley City State co-led Macy Friedgen, Morgan Friege, each with 3 kills. Friedgen 3 kills in 7 swings. Friege 3 kills in 5 swings. And Emma Lucas swung twice, 2 kills. Also, Danielle Hagler, pair of blocks. Emma Lucas with a block. Rosie Anderson, a block and an assist. 2 blocks total in that first set. Only 3 digs for Delaney Clark. And how many did J.C. Richter have? She's chasing the record tonight. 5. They've got Richter for 5. So she's on her way to trying to break that record. I believe the number is 15 that she needs to put herself to the overall career record in that category. So the Vikings take a 7-0 advantage on a 25-7 win, and we will go to the second. And Rocky Mountain will have the serve to start the second set. We'll see how the Battling Bears respond after a disastrous first set for Rocky Mountain. We'll see Meredith Marsh stepping back to do the serving for Rocky Mountain. Marsh ready. Serve is on the way. J.C. Richter goes down to make the pass and receive, and Macy Fridgen getting right off of a play and scoring from the outside. And the Vikings start this second set like clockwork. 1-0 in favor of Valley City State. They get the quick side out, coming to their outside. And Delaney Clark will go back to serve for the Vikings. Deep serve. It'll be taken up by Zoe Albert back there. They set middle for Caitlin Wood. Richter dug it up and attacked by Freegee wide. And the side out will go to Rocky Mountain. That'll tie it up at 1 apiece. Change here by Rocky Mountain. Sadie Meyer comes back into the matchup for the Battling Bears. And Olivia Foth will go back to serve for Rocky Mountain. Foth serve on the way. Passed by Delaney Clark errantly, and now Rocky Mountain is going to take home a point on a violation. They're going to get an illegal attack, back row attack, that's going to be called by the setter, Madden Bogenreef. Bogenreef trying to save a ball that was headed towards the net, but if you touch it and it ends up across the plane, it's going to be called an attack. And right now she's back row. You can't attack that above the net. So there's the violation. Rocky Mountain on top by a score of 2-1. A tip from Apple. Vikings respond. Actually, the tip came from Kissel. Freegee tips to the middle as well. Now an attack from Sadie Meyer from the Rocky Mountain outside pin. To the right pin, Lucas is blocked. It turns into a joust, and Lucas pushes wide. Rocky Mountain takes the lead to 2 by a score of 3-1. So a 2-point lead for Rocky Mountain, trying to come back from a tough first set tonight. And when you're on the road, that first one, both nights can be tough. It doesn't make any difference if the bus trip was the day before. Coming out of a hotel, all the things that are just not normal, it can be a difficult trip to get off the bus and play in set number 1 of a night. A swing and a miss by Morgan Freegee. She tried to go to the right sideline, and Rocky Mountain takes a 4-1 lead. And now if you're the Vikings, you start to feel a little sense of urgency here. You want to regain some of that accuracy that you had back in the opening set. Delaney Clark turning into a pass. It led the center, Madden Bogenreef, well off the surface, and Lucas gets blocked at the net. And it's now 5-1, Rocky Mountain on top by 4. So the Battling Bears back within a 4-point margin, or rather up by a 4-point margin here in the second set. Bogenreef setting, Lucas tipping, that's going to score in the middle. They go to the right side. Emma Lucas comes up with a tip to score. Rosie Anderson back into the matchup for the Vikings. We'll see Lindsay Lawrence coming back in as a back row player for Rocky Mountain. And Gracie Schumacher will step into the back row for the Vikings. She'll take her setting rotation. Vikings down by a 3-point margin at 5-2. Schumacher serving. Albert steps back to make the pass. Meyer touched as she attacks from the outside pin. Schumacher back set this, turns into a free ball, and the Vikings can't save it. Boy, an offense that was very crisp in the opening set for Valley City State has really started the second set flat. And it's allowed Rocky Mountain to take a 4-point lead at 6-2. And the Battling Bears will make another change. Kira Ban comes back in to serve for Rocky Mountain. Delaney Clark stepping back to make the pass. Schumacher setting. A long approach to get to it. It'll be sent over by Freegee. Not what she was looking for. A tip goes wide from Felina Mulder. Mulder was trying to come to the middle for Rocky Mountain, and the set went behind her. There was miscommunication there. Mulder can't fix it. And the Vikings get back to within 3. It's 6-3 in favor of Rocky Mountain here in the second set. The Vikings lead a set to none, 25-7 win in the first on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard. Serve on the way from J.C. Richter. Her service rotation was bruising. She ended the opening set, served perhaps 8 or 9 in a row, and ends up with an ace. as a ball can't be passed by Sadie Meyer. So an ace again for J.C. Richter. She has had an unbelievable night serving up aces. They don't have the number out there as of yet for J.C., but had a great run serving in that opening set. And Richter will serve again with the Vikings back within 2. Pass comes from Lawrence. They'll set middle. Mulder gets through contact. Richter digs one up. It stays on the attack line. Delaney Clark will send it over from the back row. They set this time to the outside. A tip from Meyer, and the Vikings save that off the net. Pushed back over by J.C. Richter. Mulder again in the middle, and Richter digs that up. It comes to the attack line again. Back to the net. Sent back across by Ellie Lucas. Now from the right side, an attack and score by Amelia Kissler. We see Ellie Lucas coming into the matchup for the Vikings. Ellie was a mainstay earlier this year, and the Vikings have been rotating through some players in that outside spot. Seeing what they have for the future, Lucas, a sophomore 6-footer from Augustville, North Dakota. Lead back to 3 for Rocky Mountain at 7-4 after the side out. Kristen Mintink will step back to serve for the Bears. Lucas makes the pass. Schumacher back setting Freegee, blocked to the middle. Felina Mulder went up and got it. Big block for Felina Mulder, who had really the only success for Rocky Mountain in the first set scoring. Lead back to 4. It's an 8-4 margin in favor of Rocky Mountain over Valley City State here in the second set. Serve on the way, Delaney Clark struggling with it. That'll be an ace. The Vikings need a timeout, it would appear. Michelle Micklejohn not moving to call that timeout as of yet. Lead up to 5 for the Battling Bears at 9-4 here in the second. And Kristen Minting stepping back to serve again for Rocky Mountain. Delaney Clark looking to make the pass. Schumacher handles middle, push coming through. Freegee defeating Mulder, kind of reading where Mulder was and pushed wide of the block. And Morgan Freegee with a kill. The Vikings get a side out. Danielle Hagler back into the front row for the Vikings. Annika Pulju will go to the back row to serve for Valley City State. Pulju ready, serve on the way. Stepped into Zoe Albert on the pass. This stays in the back row all the way. Lawrence has to free ball it over. Pulju with the pass, back set right side. Hagler terminating down the sideline. Big swing for Danielle Hagler to terminate that ball for Valley City State. One of her better swings that we've seen so far tonight. She hasn't played a lot of pin. She's been more middle. The Vikings go to their right with her. Lead back to 3. Valley City State within 3 at 9-6. Albert stepping back on the pass. They'll come to their right side, and Meyer defeats a block and scores. A moment ago on our replay, you watch this ball from Danielle Hagler. It's fun to watch these middles for Valley City State do that right pin slide and right down the sideline. No chance to catch up to it for Rocky Mountain. But right now, Rocky Mountain leads by 4 at 10-6. Sadie Meyer serving. Richter making the pass, set middle. Hagler through contact and scoring. Danielle Hagler hits middle this time. It gets through. Side out for the Vikings. And Delane Lindeen will come back into the matchup, replacing Sadie Meyer in the back row. And Valley City State's Madden Bogenreef will step back to serve. 10-7, Rocky Mountain's lead is 3. Bogenreef's serve pass towards the right side, and attack goes court wide and found the far sideline on a miss hit for Tessa Apple. Apple didn't get the swing on that she wanted. It came off the side of her hand, but caught some tape on the way across the net and falls on the far sideline. Bears back up 4 at 11-7. Zoe Albert set to serve. Back row, backing up is J.C. Richter. Set middle, Hagler again through contact. Did not get contacted. And Hagler with an attack error will make it 12-7 Rocky Mountain. LaRue Laco Financial Scoreboard shows the 5-point lead for the Bears over the Vikings. And a serve on the way again. A back step to it for J.C. Richter. Set middle, and Hagler this time will score. Danielle Hagler comes up with a big kill for Valley City State. And the Vikings get back to it in 4 at 12-8. Macy Fridgen back on the floor for the Vikings. And this time, the Vikings will send in Molly Bjornabine, 5'9" freshman out of Grafton, North Dakota. Service error. Second tonight for the Vikings. And Rocky Mountain make a couple of changes. Meredith Marsh will come back in as a setter. And we'll see Amelia Kissel stepping in as a hitter. So Kristen Mintink steps in as the second setter tonight for Rocky Mountain as they continue to stay in their 6-2 lineup despite one of their mainstays not being there. A save by Bogenreef and a push coming from the Vikings, Danielle Hegler. Another dig. J.C. Richter's flying around tonight, and Macy Fridgen will terminate from the outside bin for the Vikings. Boy, another nice pin, or rather play for J.C. Richter. She's dug up a lot of balls here this evening. And it's 12-9. The Vikings have their deficit cut to 3. Delaney Clark serving. Off the right side, Foth going up and over contact. Clark digs it up back row. Big attack by Fridgen, and that is, what's the call? Apparently in. Yep, that'll be the call. Okay, so we get the late call. Fridgen terminates, and Rocky Mountain wants a timeout as their lead has been cut to 2. 12-10 your score. Valley City State back within 2 here in the second set, leading a set to none on the LaRue-Laco Financial scoreboard. We have a timeout. We're back with more from Gratian Gymnasium coming up next here on Viking Volleyball.
Quality education, affordable tuition, student opportunities. That's the Viking promise. Valley City State University. Discover yourself here at VCSU. Visit today.
Welcome back to Viking Volleyball. Valley City State back within, they've corrected the scoreboard now. It was 12-10 going into the break. They've come out at 13-10. So the Vikings currently down by a 3-point margin. They've trailed by as many as 5 on a couple of occasions here in this set. And the Vikings trying to find their way back into a second set where they have just not been particularly efficient. Vikings had a very, very efficient start to the matchup tonight when they won 25-7 in the first set, but they've had some struggles, made some errors here in the second. They're trying to rally late. Delaney Clark will serve midway through the second set. Pass comes very near the net, and a great play by Meredith Marsh to handle that and set Caitlin Wood coming out to the right pin. Boy, that's a headsy play by Meredith Marsh. She's the regular center that's on the floor tonight for Rocky Mountain. That ball was coming near the net. Not only did she save it, but she was actually able to make a play out of it. And the lead is up to 4 for Rocky Mountain, but a service error by the Bethlehem Bears will cut it back to 3, side out for the Vikings. Olivia Foth sends one into the net, and Lindsay Lawrence will be her defensive replacement in the back row. Gracie Schumacher comes back in for the Vikings in the back row. And in the front row, the Vikings will bring Rosie Anderson back into the matchup. Schumacher serving. Pass comes from Zoe Albert. Set for Meyer. She gets through a block. The Vikings able to save it. No illegal contact. Rosie Anderson saves the ball. They go back to the middle. Wood will push towards the middle. Ball back near side. Fridgen got off contact and scores. And head coach Aubrey Beaumont is frustrated that she did not get a call for illegal contact when Rosie Anderson saved that ball off the net. The officials confer on the headset, and that will be the end of the conference. And the Vikings are back within 2 at 14-12. The play stands. Sadie Meyer tipping deep to the back row. It found the back line. Meyer able to run it down on a deep tip. And the Vikings back down 3 after the Rocky Mountain side out at 15-12. Kira Band comes back in to serve for Rocky Mountain. Delaney Clark making the pass. Schumacher to the middle. Rosie Anderson swinging away in the middle and scoring. Rosie Anderson comes up with a big play for Valley City State. We'll take a look at it again in our replay, and you don't see Rosie Anderson getting the opportunity to swing in the middle very often, but that block, a little late reacting to her. Rocky Mountain hasn't seen that play a lot, so they may not believe that that's where the ball is going. Lead cut to 2 at 15-13. Bethlehem Bears. And the serve from J.C. Richter. Tough pass, but again a save from Marsh. A swing coming from Amelia Kissel. Vikings rally. Ellie Lucas up and over contact. Pass from Zoe Albert. Dump from Marsh on second contact. Vikings there, and Freegee gets off a tip and scores. Lead cut to 1 at 15-14, and a timeout will be taken by the Vikings, and I believe we know why. Michelle Micklejohn will call for timeout, and the reason is that J.C. Richter has just broken the career digs record at Valley City State University. 1,959 career digs for J.C. Richter. J.C. Richter's mom, Jamie Richter, is up in the crowd tonight. Volleyball coach at Linton, and obviously coached some pretty good players, including J.C. Richter, who's here as a Viking, as a libero, and now J.C. Richter stands alone as the dig leader at Valley City State University in a career. 1,959 career digs for J.C. Richter, and we see Michelle Micklejohn use a timeout so that J.C. can get the acknowledgement that she deserves. And what a career J.C. Richter has had. And she's a dual sport athlete. Keep in mind that last year when she made the move over to Viking basketball, after the volleyball season was over, she was the leader in minutes played per game almost immediately, and also was a top 3 or 4 scorer from the get-go. She has a phenomenal way of using her pivot foot in the post, and has been a two-sport athlete throughout her entire career at Valley City State. She serves for the Vikings out of the timeout, and Kissel gets blocked. It's blocked just wide. Michelle Micklejohn asking for a call and doesn't get it. Ellie Lucas thought she had a block that had come down on the sideline, and apparently it was blocked wide, and Michelle Micklejohn doesn't get the call she's looking for. Kristen Mintink will go into the back row to be the center now for Rocky Mountain. The Vikings back down 2 after the side out, 16-14 on the LaRue Lacro Financial scoreboard in the second. The Vikings won the opening set 25-7. Mintink serving. J.C. Richter making the pass. They set middle. Deep push coming from Morgan Freege. Rocky Mountain ready. They send it over to their outside. Meyer with the swing. Delaney Clark dug that up. Tip by Lucas to the middle. Long run to get there for Meyer. She dug it up, and a tip off the near side, put near the net, a joust. The Vikings will return it after a joust with Mulder up front. A swing by Meyer going to be long, and the Vikings are back within 1. And Aubrey Beaumont, the head coach of Rocky Mountain, continues to lobby, looking for a ball handling foul against Valley City State. Hasn't got it as of yet. They've been rather liberal as to what's allowed at the net tonight on ball handling. Lead cut to 1 at 16-15. Serve on the way. Coming from Pouliou. Mulder swinging, and Pouliou goes down to get a dig on it. Schumacher sets middle. Lucas will swing. That's dug up out of the back row by Lawrence. A tip near the antenna. Schumacher's there to save it. And now Rosie Anderson swinging away. A big dig for Rocky Mountain, but second contact goes awry from Apple. And the point will go to the Vikings. They've tied up the second set. It was a lot of work to erase that 5-point lead. We'll see what the Vikings have left for gas in the tank. 5-setter last night for Valley City State. They've tied it up at 16 apiece. Pouliou serving. Zoe Albert laying out to get to it. A block. It'll be Danielle Hagler teaming up with Rosie Anderson, turning away an attempt on the outside for Tessa Apple and Rocky Mountain. The Vikings take a 1-point lead in the second set at 17-16. Annika Pouliou will step back to serve for the Vikings for the 1-point lead. Zoe Albert got to it. A swing by Mulder. Pouliou down to get it. Schumacher back sets right pin. Anderson tipping and scoring. Vikings up 2 and 18-16. Rocky Mountain may need a stoppage. Reluctant to take one so far for Aubrey Beaumont, trying to coach her team out of this. Vikings take a 2-point lead at 18-16. Pouliou serving again. Lightens up towards the middle. Down to make the pass was Lawrence. It stays on the attack line. Meyer sends it over. First contact, Richter. Hagler is blocked. The block covered by Pouliou. Back to Hagler, and the right pin defeats contact and scores. And that will force the timeout from Rocky Mountain as the Vikings go up 3 at 19-16. They've reversed a 5-point lead, which was 12-7 Rocky Mountain. The Vikings up 3 in the second, leading a set to none on the LaRue Lacro Financial scoreboard. More Viking volleyball when we come back next.
Hey college students, are you looking for a part-time job that works around your schedule, pays well, and gives you free money for college every year? McDonald's offers all of it. We can work around your schedule, and we give $2,500 scholarships to everyone who works for 3 months and averages 15 hours per week. That's 2 full shifts a week or 3 shifts of 5 hours. It's that easy. Let us help you become our next scholarship recipient. Come join our team. Text ND29 to 38000 to apply today.
Welcome back to Viking Volleyball. If you're wondering where the turnaround came from for the Vikings, they were down 12-7, and things just not looking very good for Valley City State in the middle of this second set. So what is it that turned things around? Well, here's what turned it around. The Vikings have passed a little bit better. They've received serve a little bit better, and they've just been able to move and play some defense a little bit better. They've been able to cover the back row, and it's given their hitters more of an opportunity, but you can be more efficient when you get a better pass. That's the one thing about it. When you get a good pass, you can be more efficient hitting. Maybe some communication errors were resolved as well, as the Vikings have seen just better control. Second contact, the third contact. They lead by 3 after trailing by 5. A tip coming from Meyer. J.C. Richter runs that down for the Vikings. Lucas getting through a block and scoring. Ellie Lucas on the outside pin. Another point for the Vikings. Valley City State leads 20-16 here in the second set. Annika Poolyu set to serve again for the Vikings. Poolyu ready. Line drive serve. Tough pass. Meyer got to it. Set for Mulder, but she asked to tip. Didn't get what she was looking for. Schumacher sets middle, and Danielle Hagler is blocked. The Vikings were able to cover the block. Poolyu sends it over on a short free ball. Mulder now calling for it, but Meyer will push. Poolyu came over to cover the sideline. Near side, a swing by Lucas. Net contact against Rocky Mountain. In the net is Tessa Apple for the Matlin Bears. The Vikings get another side out. It's now 21-16, and Apple's going to be replaced by Gabriella Panzetta, a 6'3 senior from North Vancouver, British Columbia. 21-16, the Vikings by 5, coming back from down 5 to lead by 5 in the second set. Set to Meyer, got off contact on the net and scores. That's the first really good swing that we've seen for Rocky Mountain in a while. They were struggling to receive serve. Annika Poolyu did a nice job during her service rotation. Now can the Vikings get the side out they need? Sadie Meyer back to serve for Rocky Mountain. Poolyu turning into the pass. Schumacher setting right pin. Rosie Anderson into the net. That's tipped back across. The Vikings were able to cover the tip. Ellie Lucas swings and hits it long. Point to the Matlin Bears. And very quickly, the Matlin Bears are back within 3. This second set has been a set of momentum so far, and you want to shut it down before it gets away from you. Meyer serving, that's a service error. Big play for the Vikings there as they get the service error from Sadie Meyer. Side out Vikings makes it 22-18. Valley City State back up 4. Back into the matchup for Rocky Mountain, Delane Lindeen going to the back row as a defensive specialist. And the serve on the way, coming from Madden Bogenreef. Set right side, and an awkward tip that goes wide to the far sideline from Gabriella Panzetta. Panzetta just finding her way into the matchup. Ends up tipping one long. Vikings back up 5 at 23-18. And a serve coming from Madden Bogenreef for the Vikings. Be set towards the middle. Mulder gets blocked, but it stays on the Viking side. A deep push from the Vikings coming from Bodenreef keeps it afloat. They'll work to the outside. Foth is able to put that one down. Olivia Foth from the outside for Rocky Mountain comes up with a kill on the side out. 23-19, Caitlin Wood comes back into the matchup. Their leading killer for Rocky Mountain. They get her back in for one more opportunity here in this second set. That's a key moment for Rocky Mountain to get her back on the floor. Zoe Albert serving. Vikings receiving, and a swing on the near side coming from Emma Lucas. Partially touched, Foth at the net blocked. It's covered by Zoe Albert. This comes back to Panzetta, who will send it back over for Rocky Mountain on a free ball. Bogenreef setting middle. Emma Lucas defeats contact with a tip. And the Vikings have set point here in set number 2. 24-19. Valley City State looking to take a 2-0 lead in the matchup. And the Vikings make a couple of changes. We'll see Bryn Wandel, no correction, my apologies. We'll see Libby Mathern, a 5'9 freshman out of Edgeley, and also Molly Burnaby coming back into the matchup. Up front, Caitlin Wood into the net and an error, and the Vikings will take home set number 2. 25-19, an error ends it, and the Vikings complete the comeback after falling behind 12-7. They come back to take a 25-19 victory and win the second set by 6 and take a 2-0 lead in the matchup. We have set number 3 on the way next after an intermission report for Rambo, so do stay with us. This is our coverage of Viking volleyball on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and NewsDakota.com.
When you're craving the taste of juicy, flavorful, locally sourced beef and pork, look no further than your locally owned Valley Meat Supply. At Valley Meat Supply, we take pride in bringing you the finest cuts of beef and pork straight from local producers. So whether you're planning a mouth-watering barbecue or a cozy family meal, choose Valley Meat Supply for the highest quality, locally grown beef, pork, and award-winning jerky, sticks, and sausage. Valley Meat Supply, West Main, Valley City. Your taste buds will thank you.
Are you on the right financial path? Are all your financial professionals on the same page? At LaRue Laco Financial, you can be assured that your investment professional and tax professional are working together. Call Ryan LaRue or Chase Carpenter at 701-845-6938. Securities offered through LPL Financial. Member FINRA, SIPC.
When your team, school, or business needs custom apparel or promotional products, Rambo is here to help. With over 40 years of industry-leading experience, state-of-the-art machines, and dedicated employees, we have the tools and facility to handle any job. With online ordering solutions for sports teams and businesses alike, you can count on us to get the job done correctly and on time. Get your next project started, contact Matt, or visit us online at rambo.com.
Welcome back to Viking volleyball. We go to the third set. The Vikings win the second by a score of 25-19 after falling behind 12-7 in the second set tonight. Take a look at a couple of the highlights from that second set, and you'll see Valley City State with Delaney Clark making a great pass. This comes out to the right pin. Danielle Hagler coming up with that right pin slide. She's done such a nice job on that, along with Morgan Friege this year, and then Rosie Anderson having a chance to hit the middle. And Valley City State taking a 2-0 lead, winning the first 25-7 and the second 25-19. Folks, want to remind you that the Frontier Conference would like to thank their corporate partners for their continued financial support. BSN Sports and Nike, Cooper Tire and Tire-Rama, the D.A. Davidson Companies, Irk Hotels, First Interstate Bank, Billings Clinic and Logan Health, McDonald's of Great Falls, Northwestern Energy, Pepsi and the Harrington Bottling Companies, Snap Mobile, Winwan Technologies, and the Montana Army National Guard. Uncommon is calling. Don't forget to download the Frontier Conference app in partnership with Snap Mobile. The app free to download. Search for FC Sports in the App Store on Apple or Google Play for Android. 2-0 lead for the Vikings. 7-10 in the conference. Had a chance to get back to 500 this weekend. Last night gets away a little bit, but tonight the Vikings on point to start the first set at 25-7. They win the second, coming from down 5 to win it by 6. A number of elements of the Viking women's basketball team are here tonight as well, and that's a really nice touch. They've got signage over there for J.C. Richter. Obviously, Richter will join the Viking women's basketball team after the completion of the volleyball season. They were there for her teammate to break that record tonight, as a tip from Felina Mulder will score for Rocky Mountain. That'll make it 1-0 Batlin Bears to start the third on the side out. But in the second set, J.C. Richter eclipses the record for a career in digs, picks up her 1,959th dig, and she is the all-time career leader now for Valley City State. Macy Frigid scoring from the outside for the Vikings for a side out. And the Vikings will tie it up at 1. But we mentioned that Richter will go over and join the women's basketball team, and she's been a great women's basketball player. Has a knack for getting rebounds, particularly offensive rebounds, and a handful of the women's basketball players here with signage for her tonight, rallying her on as she comes up with a record tonight. That was a big one. A block by Valley City State. Back to the middle, Sadie Meyer attacking for Rocky Mountain. Frigid trying to get through. Mulder blocks that. Back to Frigid again, over the block this time, it scores. And Macy Frigid will make it a 2-1 lead for Valley City State. So a 2-1 lead for the Vikings. And a serve for Delaney Clark. This will be set towards the far side of the floor. Meyer has to tip it. A tough serve receive again. The Vikings have served really aggressively, and it's been to their benefit here tonight. Marsh sends one over on a free ball. An attack from Frigid into a joust. J.C. Richter was there to recover. Frigid swinging again. This time passed into a joust again. Tipped back over by Mulder. Up front, long tip from Bogenreef. Tried to target the back row. Mulder's blocked at the net. Morgan Frigi coming up with a block along with Emma Lucas. We'd love to give you some numbers. I know they're struggling with that again tonight at the scorers table. They've had a stat program that just hasn't been able to come through for them here tonight, so we don't have updated numbers on what that looks like. Delaney Clark serving. Pass going over right side, Lindsay Lawrence for the Battling Bears. And a tip coming over from Sadie Meyer, but the Vikings ready. On the right pin, Lucas off of contact. Lawrence dives to cover it. Back to Meyer on the outside, another block. Frigi and Lucas team up for it. And the Vikings take a 4-1 lead here in the third after 5 rallies on the LaRue-Laco Financial scoreboard. 25-7, 25-19 for the Vikings so far tonight. They lead it 2-0. Pass from Lawrence. She gets tangled up in the back row, but able to make the pass. Good swing by Meyer. Dig from Richter covering the middle. And a tip coming from Macy Frigid. This will be sent back over in a free ball by Rocky Mountain. A dump by Bogenreef. A dive. Zoe Albert keeps it afloat. Back row attack. Lawrence gets through a touch up front. This will come to Lucas. She gets blocked by Mulder. And a tip coming from Frigi. Back onto the Rocky Mountain side. Back over to the right. Big swing by Kissel. Delaney Clark dug that up. One-handed set from Bogenreef. Tipped by Morgan Frigi. Near side. And it can't be returned by Rocky Mountain. They try to set outside pin. No chance to cover it up. The Vikings win a spirited rally and push their lead to 5-1 here in the third. And more lobbying coming from Rocky Mountain head coach Aubrey Beaumont, who believes that there have been some pretty liberal allowance, if you will, with the ball handling at the net here tonight. Mulder tipping, blocked. Morgan Frigi will block it. Vikings up 6-1. Boy, if you're the head coach, Aubrey Beaumont, you don't want to take that timeout, but it's a really tough situation to be in right now. Delaney Clark will serve again. Backing up Zoe Albert to get to it. Back to the near side, Meyer sending it over. Delaney Clark dug it up. Frigid from the outside. Another big dig by Albert. She's had a good third set. Off to the right, Kissel gets blocked. Frigi goes up to gobble up that for the Vikings. And a timeout will be taken by Rocky Mountain as the Vikings flex some dominance in the third. 7-1, Valley City State in the third of the LaRue-Laco Financial scoreboard. The Vikings lead it 2-0. This is Viking Volleyball. We'll continue with more next on the VCSU Athletics YouTube channel and at newsdakota.com.
Lever's Foods, best quality, best price. Lever's Foods, best service, they're nice. Lever's Foods, they make it.
During the fall sale at Lever's, prices are falling fast on Brewpub Pizza, $5.99. Kraft shredded or chunk cheese, $1.89 with coupon and flyer. Cheez-It, Townhouse, or toasted crackers, $4.49 with coupon and flyer. Fresh Express chopped salad kits, just $3.49 each, and boneless beef chuck roast, only $8.99 a pound. Delivery is available by calling 845-1732. Lever's Foods, Valley City.
Been a little something different so far tonight for the Vikings. First set, it was all attacking. Valley City State was all over it, a 25-7 win. Second set, the passing picked up, and the Vikings were able to communicate a little bit better as the set went on to turn around a 5-point deficit into a 6-point win. Here in the third, the block has been huge. Morgan Frigi's had blocks on both pins so far in this third set. Valley City State leading by a score of 7-1 in the third. They lead 2-0 with a 25-7, 25-19 victory in sets 1 and 2 respectively tonight. And Delaney Clark will step back and serve here in the third. Lindsay Lawrence going down to make the pass. Meyer will tip. One of the Rocky Mountain Battling Bears ends up tumbling beyond the surface, and Morgan Frigi, Macy Frigid, will turn and score for the Vikings on the far sideline. Meredith Marsh coming over, trying to get to a ball, and ends up falling and rolling beyond the near sideline. The Vikings with a 7-point lead here in the third. Delaney Clark serving again. Kissel stepping back for the pass, very near the net. Marsh saved it. Another block for Freegee. Morgan Freegee has been absolutely spectacular at the net here in this third set, and Rocky Mountain will make a change. Rachel White, a right side out of Orem, Utah, will step into the matchup for Rocky Mountain. 9-1, Valley City State by 8. Marsh will dump on second contact, and we're going to see a whistle here for a double. They'll say Marsh comes up with a ball handling problem, and I'm a little surprised that head coach Beaumont for Rocky Mountain doesn't react to that, just because she's wanted more tight calls in the ball handling tonight and has not been able to get them, at least to this point. Here's a swing, and Emma Lucas just pounds one down as a second contact free ball was coming over. Lucas goes up and gets it right above the plane of the net and puts that one away. And the lead for the Vikings grows to 10 at 11-1. Delaney Clark serving. Lawrence with the pass. Marsh gets there, and Sadie Meyer will put away a side out for Rocky Mountain. A side out that Rocky Mountain really needed. 11-2, that cuts the Viking lead down to 9. Vikings leading 2-0, and right now with an 11-2 lead in the third. And Zoe Albert will step back to serve for Rocky Mountain. Albert serve on the way. Delaney Clark went down to get it. Set middle, and a tip by Freegee. Freegee tipping wide of contact will score. Rosie Anderson back into the matchup. Gracie Schumacher will come back in as well. Madden Bogenreef is an untold story for the Vikings this year. She's the leader in assists for Valley City State right now, and in her freshman year, she has found a way to gel all of these weapons for Valley City State into a pretty good unit while she's out there. Swing by Caitlin Wood. Delaney Clark made a dig on it. Phrygian gets blocked. J.C. Richter's there to cover. Right pin for Rosie Anderson. Pass by Zoe Albert for Rocky Mountain. This comes back to the middle, and a free ball from Sadie Meyer sends it over. Vikings set middle. Freegee attacking. That's going to score. Zoe Albert trying to cover back row. Morgan Freegee continues a third set route for her single-handedly. 3 blocks that we know of for sure. Comes up with a kill there. The Vikings up 13-3 now after a service error by Gracie Schumacher. And Rocky Mountain will make a pair of changes here. Gabriella Panzetta will come back into the matchup in the front row. And we'll also see the second setter, Kristen Mentink, come back into the matchup and play the back row. Viking crowd getting into it here. Mentink will send it over. Delaney Clark with a pass, back set, right pin, down for guess who? Macy Phrygian. The Vikings just make a little feint to the middle with Morgan Freegee, and the set goes to Macy Phrygian. It froze a block. There was just no place for Rocky Mountain to find something to put together. And the Vikings will send in a new server. Valley City State sends in Brooke Anderson to do the serving. And a tip up front for Sadie Meyer off the right pin for Rocky Mountain. We'll get a side out for the Battling Bears. 14-4, the Viking lead is 10. You just look at where Rocky Mountain's at right now. You don't come out with one of your 2 setters on the trip. 94 kills, 256 assists, doesn't make the trip. Coaching staff combined 4 years right now at Rocky Mountain as a swing by Anderson gets blocked. Right side Freegee up and over contact. Save back row. Mentink trying to put her back to the net and pull one through, but an attack from Olivia Foth goes into the net. The Vikings back up 15-4. Aubrey Bromont's second season. Lauren Revering and Sydney Anderson in their first seasons respectively. And that's just a tough look for Rocky Mountain. Trying to maybe rebuild parts of the program. An ace served up by Annika Puliu. 16-4. Interesting that last name for Lauren Revering is familiar. Samantha Revering, I'm not sure if there's a relation there, but Samantha Revering was a standout at Minot State University and became the head basketball coach at Kindred at a swing by Danielle Hagler that's blocked. And the point will go to Rocky Mountain. And she has been, well, I mean, obviously, the Kindred Viking girls basketball program has been a standout, but I know that Samantha Revering was a Montana native, and so not sure if there's a relationship there or not. Rosie Anderson will swing and score from the right pin. That'll make it 17-5, Valley City State on top. Yeah, Sam Brandt is what she goes by now. She was Samantha Revering. She's now Sam Brandt at Kindred, but Samantha Revering had a very good athletic career at Minot State and was from Montana, so maybe there's some connection there. A tip coming up right down the middle for Danielle Hagler. Rocky Mountain back to it. Big swing on the near side for Olivia Foth, and Rocky Mountain comes up with a side out. Cuts the Viking lead to 11 at 17-6. 1 point lead, rather 11-point lead for the Vikings. And the serve on the way for Rocky Mountain as they insert additional new personnel. Emma Lucas from the outside pin will get through and score. New server for Rocky Mountain was Kyla Muller, senior out of Battleground, Washington. 18-6, the Vikings by a dozen. Looking to throw the sweep tonight, and the Vikings would celebrate back-to-back wins on the day. J.C. Richter serving. Pass coming out of the back row again from Zoe Albert. It's saved by Rocky Mountain. Right side, Lucas defeats a touch and scores. Lucas hitting right pin. And the Vikings will make a change here. And for the first time tonight, we'll see Kiana Hillary. Kiana Hillary's a freshman out of Elk River, Minnesota, and she will come into the front row for Valley City State. The Vikings leading by 13 at 19-6. Richter softens up in the serve. Albert's there to dig it up. A tip on the near side coming from Rachel White. Vikings ready, and a swing from Macy Frigid. Pass from Zoe Albert. Off to the near side, the attack from Foth finds the back line. From the outside pin for Rocky Mountain. Lead is cut to 12 at 19-7. Vikings with a commanding lead and leading 2-0 in the matchup after winning the first 25-7 and the second 25-19. Olivia Foth will step back to serve. And Foth's serve is an error into the net. Vikings up 13 at 20-7. Big lead for Valley City State. Morgan Frigie, who's had a huge third set, will come back into the matchup. And Delaney Clark will go back to serve for the Vikings. Parents' night for the Vikings. They put on a great show tonight. Not going to be the weekend they wanted. They wanted two this weekend. They had Carroll on the ropes in that fifth set last night after coming back from the ropes in the fourth set. And net contact going to be called here against Rocky Mountain's Rachel White. The lead is 14 at 21-7. Valley City State. Delaney Clark will serve. Serve on the way, picked up far side by Lindsay Lawrence. Back set to the right, that's off. It'll clear the net. First contact coming from Kiana Hillary. Frigid getting a swing away, that'll score. Macy Frigid makes it 22-7 Vikings. .15 Viking lead. And Delaney Clark will swing away. Zoe Albert making a pass. Near side of the floor, another block. Morgan Frigie goes up and comes up with another block, taking out Sadie Meyer from the outside pin. And Rocky Mountain will send Lauren Rodacker back into the matchup, an original starter. And the Vikings will send in a new player as well, Libby Mathern, we saw her earlier, 5'9" freshman out of Edgeley, North Dakota. And the Vikings will serve with Delaney Clark doing the serving. Into a joust, and it'll be a Viking point on an illegal back row attack as the setter goes up, tries to knock that one through, and it is match point for Valley City State. The Vikings trying to win another 25-7 set. They lead 24-7, and another joust coming up, and another illegal back row attack, Libby Nathern was there. She'll get a touch on the ball to end it, and the Vikings win this in dominating fashion tonight. Your final score on the LaRue Laco Financial scoreboard: the Vikings 3, the Battling Bears nothing. 25-7, 25-19, 25-7. We'll come back with a post-game report in just a couple of moments, just a bit of a wrap-up, and then we'll send it back for the weekend. This has been Viking Volleyball. Stay with us, more in a moment.
Orthopedic pain is limiting. It's unpredictable. And when it disrupts the way you move, it disrupts the way you live. Life is better when you feel empowered to move the way you want, when you want. And that's where our experts come in. We're your guides to orthopedic and sports medicine treatment options that can manage your pain, rehab your injuries, and restore your confidence. Take back the freedom to move. Explore your orthopedic options at Sanford Health.
We aren't meant to be still. And while you determine the direction you'll go, we're just here to help you along the way. So go. Go with experience. Go with teamwork. Go with neighbors. Go with integrity.
Vikings win this one tonight, 25-7, 25-19, 25-7. The Vikings will improve to 8-10 inside conference play tonight. Their overall record will improve to 10-13, and they win it in dominating fashion tonight. The Vikings go on the road next week. They'll be at Dickinson State and Bismarck State College Thursday and Friday coming up next week. No final numbers are available in this win tonight. However, the Vikings with a solid hitting percentage, and J.C. Richter breaking the all-time digs record at Valley City State University. That record set by Shelly Cockerell back in the mid-90s. J.C. Richter ends up breaking that record tonight, and the Vikings are 3-0 winners tonight over Rocky Mountain and the Battling Bears this evening at Gratian Gymnasium. That'll do it for Viking Volleyball tonight. For Valley City State University Viking Athletics, I'm Ryan Cunningham saying so long from I3G Media.